hear a lot about how harmful it can be for children to deal with bullying on the playground, in the classroom, in the hallways, but what about at home? A recent study found sibling bullying is as detrimental as peer bullying. Parenting expert Amy McCready is here now with some suggestions on how to deal with this. I dealt with this and I'm the oldest. Can you believe that?
Were you the one being the bully?
No,
oh, really?
I was being bullied by my little brother who's a maniac. But, you know,
that's another story for another day, right?
But can you talk about the difference between normal sibling fighting and sibling bullying?
Yes, and you know, this study that you mentioned was really important because it found that almost 32% of kids reported an incidence of sibling bullying. So it is a big deal, and all families have fighting. If you have more than one kid, you're going to have scuffles.
Yeah.
But it would be sibling bullying when there's clearly an imbalance of power. And it's not just a once-in-a-while kind of thing. It's ongoing, it's persistent, and the person being bullied feels helpless to get out of it.
Okay, so what are the long-term effects of sibling bullying?
Well, for bullying in general, you know, the victim is typically more anxious, depressed, has low self-esteem, and the child who's bullied at home is also more likely to be bullied at school or in other places. For the aggressor, they tend to be more likely to abuse alcohol and drugs, more likely to engage in early sexual activity, more likely to abuse their own spouse and child. So it really is a big issue.
Okay, how do parents unknowingly contribute to this bullying?
Well, we do things that we don't even think about. We set up competition within the family. We compare kids. You know, we label them, even positive labels. If you're the smart one, well, then I just assume I'm the opposite.
Right.
You're the athletic one, I'm the clumsy one. The other thing we do is we tend to foster these victim and aggressor roles. So when there's a scuffle, you know, if you give the victim a lot of poor babies and hugs and attention, he learns that there's attention in being the victim, and the power, the bully or the aggressor learns that there's power in being the bully.
Okay, so what can parents do to stop this?
Well, there's a lot of things, but you know, first we have to really teach them conflict resolution strategies because there are going to be fights. So how can they deal with those? A really good strategy is walk, then talk. So if you, as the child, are not happy about the way something is going, you have the responsibility to speak up with your big voice, stop it. Don't do that, I don't like it. Use your big, so we have to train kids and practice and role play how to do that. So you use your big voice and talk first, and if that doesn't work, you walk, you get out of there so there's nobody to fight with.
Okay.
The other thing you want to do is teach empathy. So that has to be learned. So when there's a scuffle, you know, you take the kids separately and talk about, you know, how do you think your brother felt when that happened? And you try to help them see things from the other person's perspective.
Right.
That is really important. And then as the parent, you're going to have to intervene at times when there's a fight. So be careful to do so as mediator, not as judge and jury. So you're not there to decide that you're wrong and you're right, but you know, okay, guys, we're having some trouble here. Let's talk about this, let everybody share their side of the story, then turn it over to them. What ideas do you guys have to work this out?
Do you have any advice on the kid for the kid who is being bullied, who feels just so sensitive and always picked on? What advice would you have to help a child like that build confidence and to be able to stand up to the bully, whether it's a sibling or someone at school?
Absolutely. And so that's where that training comes in, because we have to get out of that victim mentality. So if you're a victim at home, you're going to feel like a victim in life. So what can you do to stop that? What can you do to stand up for yourself? You know, really training them on those big, strong words, getting out of there. You know, if you allow yourself to be there in that situation, the bullying is more likely to continue. Now, you also have some training work to do with the child who is doing the bullying.
Right.
But really, you know, helping them with those strategies. And if you as the parent don't feel equipped to do that, really seriously consider getting some outside help and some outside resources.
And that's something that you offer?
We do, but you know, a psychologist, your pediatrician can recommend a psychologist who can help you with that, because not all parents feel comfortable doing that. But it's so important that the child gets that early on, because you're kind of setting up, you know, how they're going to handle relationships as they're teenagers, as, you know, for their spouse. It's really important.
We don't want to be reading about these folks in the paper or seeing them on the news and later in life, because this is something you need to address, not just say, oh, they'll grow out of it.
Yeah, kids will be kids. You know, really look for those warning signs.
Great advice as always, Amy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Yolanda.